Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And yes, I sound a little bit rough because it happens, but keep in mind, this video and several others you'll see where I sound like this, fairly close together, were all shot 6 weeks prior, so I'm fine. Anyway, it's just, grandkids. Grandkids are really good at bringing home just about everything. So today I'm here to talk about why LED lights can, and in a lot of places should, have their place, because I do know there's a lot of concern over the negative impact on people's health, and I get it. Believe it or not, the same goes for fluorescent lights and LCD screens. So I'll be covering a few of those things and just explain why I think it's still a good idea for everyone to have some LED lights on hand. What a lot of people don't see are the natural lights that I use quite often, because they're usually either going to be out of frame or I'm not standing where those things are, because things like this fuel lantern here, I use clean heat in it. I have quite a number of these Hand German-made lanterns. And this one and all of them are hung on plant hooks and hung up high. So you'll never see them in my videos unless I include images like this one right here. That's one of the two that's in my living room that are like this. I also have a couple of other oil lanterns that sit on our mantle, and etc. So I do use both LED, like this lantern back here, and natural types of lights. And then in this room, because this is my former dance studio, martial arts studio, and it was built to be such, it's all fluorescent lighting in here, which I hate, but that's what it is. So I'm not here to do an expose on all the negative effects of LEDs and fluorescence and etc. This is more about helping people to find the proper balance and why some of these things can still have their place. Now, if you're living fully off-grid, I think a good balance of both, it should be necessary. You can rely more heavily on your natural lights, but have the LEDs as backups. And the same goes for if you just have all incandescent lights in your home, you're on the grid, but you experience a power outage, you're going to find there's circumstances and places where the LEDs are going to be far more desirable than the fuel lanterns. Now, for those who are new to my channel, we are partially off-grid, which means we have solar power, we have other things that we do to light, heat, etc. our home, besides relying entirely on public power, but we do still have public power. That, in fact, is what's running the overhead lights and currently my ring light, because I don't feel like running an extension cord clear over to the solar power, which this time of year that I'm shooting this, our solar power is really low because it's very dark here, very rainy. In fact, it's been just horribly rainy the last couple of days, so hardly any solar collection. So yet another reason why it's good for us to have other options. And we get a ton of power outages all the time. They're just common. So there's benefits to both. I mean, the fuel light, obviously, whether you're using kerosene, clean heat, a paraffin oil, or whatever you prefer, you're getting that more natural light. It's going to be a lot better and easier on your eyes. But the downside to that is now you've got an open flame. Well, not entirely open when you're talking about a lantern, but you see, I have this out away from all this stuff back here, but I can have the LED, I can set this anywhere I want. I can have it right up next to the wall and not have to worry about it getting the wall too hot or starting a fire. It's just like how we have all these hung on plant hooks that are just far enough away from the wall that we don't have to worry about that. And they're also hung up high to stay out of reach of animals and children. In fact, in this room, I have two that we set up in here for power outages. So like if I was teaching dance, I can go light those. I'd have to get a ladder to do it. And same thing with this. It actually comes from the foyer that comes into this room. But they're so high, there's no way that a child could reach them. So they would be totally safe. And back then, too, when we installed all this stuff, having all kinds of great LED lights like this weren't weren't as handy. Now all of my string lights are LED and have been for a long time. They last longer and they're not going to use as much power, which is one of the reasons I like them, since a lot of times the LED lights from my home are running off of our solar power. And the other thing too is I also use candles. I love candles, real candles. Though I have those really great remote operated LED candles that would at first sight, they look like real candles. I love those things. I could just click and on they go. And they are a warm light, so they're much easier on the eyes than a blue light. Kind of like this is a warm light here. I only like the warm light. Partly because of the look, but also because the warm light, even when you're talking LED, is still going to be easier on your eyes than your blue light and is going to be less likely to disrupt your circadian rhythms. So let's come back to talking about power outages and whatnot. When you have like a flashlight, for instance, incandescent flashlights just do not have the brightness that an LED has. And if it does, you're going through a lot of battery power. You typically are going to need size D batteries, and you can go through quite a bit of them if you're relying a lot on that flashlight. However, a light like this, it's rechargeable, in fact, and it is a very bright despite how tiny it is. So I can have a compact, bright flashlight that I can use. I use this thing all the time. It's the little O light. I'll link to it down below. It's my favorite flashlight. In fact, so much so that Patrick I bought one for him. He really likes it. He bought some for our kids and grandkids because he liked them so much. Because they're easy to pack around and they have 2 light settings. You turn and the dimmer light comes on, turn a little farther, and the brightest light comes on. And I tell you what, this lights up our whole backyard. If you were going to pick one LED light, it should be a flashlight of some kind. Whether a flashlight like this or maybe one of the bigger ones, if you like something that's a little more sturdy to hold on to, or even a headlamp. Patrick got himself a real cool band style. It's a headband, but the light itself is it's a whole band. It's not a bunch of little lights like this. It's just the whole band. And he really likes it. He can just wave his hand and turn it on. And he puts it on his hat, which is a good idea because I cannot stand wearing those headlamps, but putting it on a hat would make it a lot easier. So I might consider pulling down my straw cowboy hat, which is the only hat I can handle wearing, and maybe putting one of those on there when I need it. But this works really good for me because I just put a hook on there. I can hook it around anything. If you're going to keep at least one LED, have it be your flashlights because you're going to be in situations where you're going to need some really bright light, especially in the event of power outages, and you have to go outside, you have to check on your chickens, you have to maybe go turn on your generator or something like that. Bright flashlights are nice and something that you especially has a very long battery life, and then when you do have power, you can just simply charge it back up. And I like to show this because it's one of the features I liked most, is that for charging, you just turn it the opposite way, and right there is your charging port. And USB-C, great flashlight. And then the same applies to lights like this. I have all kinds of different lights. I have like the puck lights. They're not, they were some of the first ones to come out where you can stick in closets and cabinets and places where you can just click it and have it come on. And those were nice for a time, but lights have improved, LED lights have improved so much since. And we also had like I've mentioned before, the LED light above my fireplace. It still works great, but it takes 3 AA batteries, where this one, I like the fact that I can adjust the setting to have the warmer light. It has also a brightness setting on it. Let me turn it on here. There's a warmer light there. There's actually 3 settings. One, that's cool, warm, and this would be what they would refer to as daylight. I like to use this setting for above my wood stove for when I'm cooking, because it's the easiest to see by, but not as cold as the cool light. And then you've got your brightness settings. So I bought a set of 2 of these, and what I like about this, it does have motion sensor, but I don't use that simply because it's above the wood stove, and the heat causes it to keep coming on and turning off and coming on and turning off, and it just really runs the battery down. So far I haven't really needed to charge mine. However, I did charge it And since it's a set of two, we have this one, it's got the magnets in here, and you have little metal plates that you install wherever. And so you can just remove it, and then it's rechargeable, same type of charging port. And so what I do, since the second one will hardly ever get used except for maybe in a power outage, I made sure to put it in a place where we might need it the most. And I went ahead and tried it just for the heck of it. I took the light, even though it still was plenty bright, I took the one off of above the fireplace and plugged it in to charge it. And while it was charging, I took the other one and put it above the fireplace, because that's the one I use the most, because I'm always cooking, making tea, coffee, etc. on there, especially this time of year. So for us, yes, definitely has its place. And let me tell you, you're not going to find incandescent lights like this anyway. And you have to also look at the fact that in the event of power outages, if you're putting lights like this, or the switch lights, I have some of those too, and they're really, really bright. In fact, I have one right over there next to the doorway coming in here, and this is a big room. It is, what is it, about 1,100 square foot room, just this one big room. And I can flip that on and have it light up the whole room, and it only gets used in a power outage. So as I'm saying is, in those situations, you're only using those lights for short periods of time to be able to find your way around, to be able to maybe get your lanterns and your lighters and light your candles and your lanterns like this. But again, remembering that if you have small children or pets, you're going to want to make sure that anything is flammable like this, you've got it in a safe location that nobody can knock over. And so that's some of the things you really have to take into consideration. With that said, let me talk a little bit about the LCD screens. Now, in my personal opinion, LCD screens, which is your phones, your smart devices, your computers, your TVs, they are far harder on your eyes than your LED lighting is going to be. And I can say this from experience. So we switched a lot of things over to LED lights before I started my channel. I really didn't have any issues with it. We know that usually it can be a long period of time before we really can see the detrimental effects of a lot of things. But where my eyes started to go downhill fast was after starting my YouTube channel and spending a lot of time staring at my computer screen while I'm editing videos. That has been the hardest thing on my eyes. And I believe I don't know that I'll be able to reverse the damage that it has caused. Now, a few years ago, when I realized just how bad it was, because it was getting to where my eyes would water just trying to sit there and edit videos. But I was using my laptop, I had it at the table, so I was a lot closer to it. So distance does make a difference when it comes to any of this kind of stuff, how close you are. So what we found, the best thing to do, because I could wear the blue light blocking glasses, but that was hard on me too. That gave me headaches. I was just having a lot of issues that nothing, even putting the little blue light screen protector thing over the computer, none of that was helping. The thing that made the biggest difference was moving all my video editing into the living room, where when I'm working on my videos, I'm facing our big south-facing window where we got natural light. Even on cloudy days, at least we still have natural light coming in. And then using our bigger TV screen and me sitting across the room from it. So I've got my laptop and I've got all my stuff that with me, and I can do all my editing, but the screen is across the room. That alone was a big difference. I didn't have to wear my glasses to be able to see it, because that was the other thing too, was needing the glasses to be able to see what I was doing working up so close. But having it farther away meant I didn't have to wear the glasses. And then also I could keep looking out the window to get to not constantly be staring at that LCD screen, but be looking out the window, and sometimes just taking a break and just staring out the window so that I'm getting the natural light. And then I also have, this is where I think the salt lamps, I did a video on them years ago after looking into them. I'm still not certain how I feel about all the claims of the health benefits, but what I liked about it immediately and why I wanted them is they are incandescent lights, so they are a more natural light that's better on your eyes, and it is a very warm light. And if I don't have sunlight coming in, I always have my salt lamps, and I will focus on those. Every so often, I'll look at those and I feel my eyes just relax. So you can find a proper balance to balance things out, especially if you're one like me who's actually sacrificed her eyesight for the sake of making videos like this. I don't think my eyesight would be what it is today if it wasn't for all the years of video editing sitting so close to my computer screen. And if you're one who likes to look at your phone a lot, well, typically that's kind of close to you too. That's going to be far more damaging to your eyes than having a few LED lights around your home. So just as, a quick overview, remember LEDs, fluorescents, and natural flame lights all have their place, and how you choose to utilize them is going to depend on your own situation. Are you living off grid? Do you have a lot of power outages, or do you simply want some stuff on hand to get you through power outages that are easy to light and you don't have to worry about fire damage? And because this is common, especially people who live in trailers. Trailers are the worst for just going up like that and being gone. And my son can tell you this for sure because he is the assistant chief at the local fire department. He's been a firefighter for many years, and he has had to put out those very kind of fires. So if you're living in places like that, or again, you have small children or pets that could be easily knocking these things over, then LED lights for power outages are going to be the way to go. So everything has its place. I don't think we have to be afraid of everything and demonize everything, because anything can have its benefits and its detriment. I mean, coming back to the fuel lanterns, like I said, we use clean heat. Even though it's more expensive than kerosene, it doesn't give us headaches and make us nauseous the way kerosene does. Kerosene is a natural substance, yet it makes a lot of people very ill when burning it. I don't personally mind the smell, but it does affect me health-wise and makes me very ill. So in that case, a light like this would be safer. But the clean heat is safe as far as that goes. I love the clean heat. It has a very slight smell. It doesn't give us headaches. It doesn't make us feel sick. So these are some of the other things you have to consider. Some people, the pure paraffin oil, that can be the cleanest burning and no smell, but it's highly expensive in comparison to clean heat. So again, everything has its benefits, everything has its detriment. It's about finding a proper balance with everything and knowing what is best for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll try to remember to link to some of these things down below, like these particular one. I really like these. The place I got these don't just have the black or white frame around them, but several colors, like the dark green, a coppery color, bronzy, pink, which I don't care about, but I think there's a pink one, and a few others that you might be interested in, and the Olight for sure. I do have a link. Well, actually, you can find these links in my Amazon store link. So now I'm putting all that stuff, so it's all in one place. So if you go down there and look at the Amazon storefront, you'll find this. You'll find the Furhan lights. They're expensive lanterns. They are expensive. I can't remember if these are in there. I'll try to make sure I get them in there, but that link always is changing, so it's kind of frustrating. So to access the description box where all this stuff is, make sure you click on more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen. And any thoughts, ideas you'd like to share, please put those in comments down below. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.